Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Guys on Sports.
Part
Round
2.
Week 4 is in the books. How the hell are you guys doing?
I'm fucking hot now. Oh, man, I cursed already right out of the gate. I'm hot.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
hot.
You're hot.
Hot.
How about you, Rock?
You know, I think we need a director.
Okay, so we got a lot coming up today. We're going to get into our wiretap, pick some of our waiver guys. We're going to talk about our fantasy primetime games for the week, and we're going to take you guys to Single Digit Saloon, where we tell you which stud this week is going to score in the single digits. So before we get to that, let's give a shout out to CHALKBOARD. It's 24/7 free fantasy advice, some from us. Most of it's going to come from our robust community of over 300 members who are in the chat. The link and the bio, the link to is in our bio. The QR code's on the screen. Get in there. Get into the Discord. Ask guys about your roster, trade advice, all that stuff, and you can actually talk to us. But if you really want to talk to us, go over to Patreon, become a member, be one of the guys. You're going to get direct access to us, trade grades, roster reviews. You can talk one-on-one with us an hour before kickoff every time there's a game during the week, and that's the place to really get to know us and get that in-depth info. Rocky's rankings throughout the week, Mark's stardom sit-ems. You're going to get my best bets of the week, and, see what happens. I pledge allegiance
to the drafts and to our fantasy football punishments. Destroying my friends, cooking the chats, 7 hours, commercial free, the witching hour, with liberty and red zone for all.
All right.
It's a little bit quirky, isn't it, that one?
Yeah.
I feel like the witching hour, we might have to change that to something else, right?
I also feel like we could have probably workshopped this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like somebody should have
the
probably.
The creative process should have been, 3 brains are better than 1.
I mean, that's what creativity is all about, right?
There's a lot of Modelo in that head of his, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is it Modelo?
Hey, you're welcome, guys. Anyway, moving on, we're going to go into our first segment, which is Wiretap.
Wiretap.
So Wiretap.
What wiretap?
Wiretap, each of the guys is going to give you their number one wire pickup this week, waiver wire pickup this week. And then we're going to pick one of the higher rated waiver pickups this week that maybe you're hearing about already and tell you, hey.
And we're going to be extra quick.
Hey, stay away. That's the name of the game with Mark. Quick and early nights.
It is.
All right, so Rocky, give me your number one waiver pick first.
Yeah,
Who you got?
Number one, really quick and easy. We're going to travel down to Indiana, and we are picking up Josh Downs. He's only rostered in 27% of the leagues right now.
Which is astonishing.
Well, it's astonishing, and I think that's mostly redraft leagues probably and not keepers.
Yeah.
But anyways, he last season, 68 receptions, 771 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was building a pretty good head of steam up. Since he's been back from injury this year, 82 yards, 8 receptions, 1 touchdown already. He's the lubricant that makes that machine go.
You really like that.
He does like that. He kept that.
Mark, who is your
You know
number
what?
one?
You said that loud and
Lubricant.
proud into that microphone. I like it.
Yes.
All right. You know who we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about who's throwing him the ball. All right. We're going to go to OG Mom Slayer Joe Flacco, right? He showed all those young bucks how to get on the field and how to slide into the DMs. Joe Flacco is back, baby, and he's back with a vengeance. AR, we saw what we saw at AR, right? He is who he is. He goes, running play, gets injured, sits a play, comes back in, runs the goddamn ball on his very next play.
Well, it was
So
a
either-
designed run, so.
Yeah, but so he's either dumb, or uncoachable. I don't know what it is with him.
That was a designed run.
I don't think it was a design in his brain. I think it was probably a rollout pass, and he decided that he was going to run the ball. Yeah, I don't care. All right, good for you. That's your opinion, Phil. Okay,
How you like it?
Anyway, Joe Flacco. I think that this offense honestly operates a little bit more like an offense with Joe Flacco under center. Flacco is your prototypical pocket passer. He's old. He's got nothing to lose. He's playing for fun at this point, right? And he's got weapons. Michael Pittman looked like Michael Pittman. He's got Josh Downs. He's got JT. Their tight end room's a little suspect, but he's got a Donnie Mitchell. He's got a ton of weapons, and I think that, listen, AR is going to miss time, right? And if you're like me and you don't really need to pick anybody up on the waiver wire because you put on a master class at drafting and it's only week 5, pick them up and put them on your bench. You might need them, right? You might have swung and missed at a couple of those early quarterbacks. A couple of them went down. A couple of them underperforming. Go get them.
You want to talk about defense too? God damn it.
All right, Phil, who's your guy?
All right, so I'm going down to Duval. And
Duval.
Hey, go get Tank Bigsby. Travis Etienne has not looked good early in the season. The sky's falling in Jacksonville. Doug Peterson needs to try to hold on to his job. And Tank Bigsby is one of the only guys on that offense that's producing. 7 rushes for 90 yards last week. Etienne, they saying he had a shoulder injury. He looked a lot like he was kind of benched. Just looking like a sad puppy on the sideline. So I like Tank Bigsby, even if he doesn't get the lion's share of the carries. There will be some form of a committee there, and he's been productive. So go get Tank Bigsby. I cannot say his name. Tank Bigsby.
Sound it out. Sound it out, big guy.
No story.
Thanks and beans.
All right, so this is my fantasy waiver wire to avoid.
Yeah. Overrated one.
And here's why.
will.
I don't know that he's overrated. I think you're going to spend way too much trying to pick him up right now. And the reason, my condition for not picking this guy up is less about his skill and more about how crowded that room is in Green Bay. And mine is Wicks. I like Wicks. I think he has talent. But he's got Romeo Doubs. He's got Jaden Reed. He's got Christian Watson, who I believe is their go-to field stretcher. For some reason, can't figure it out. And I don't think he's that injured.
Thigh gap.
Great thighs.
Yeah, thigh gap. And not only that, we've got Jacobs wanting receptions in the backfield. It's just very crowded there. I do like them. They do score. But I think you're going to have to way overpay for this guy.
Is he like Madonna? What's his first name? Is it John? Is it John Wicks? What's his first name? Dontavius. There it is. Dontavius. We're going to get an S in here somewhere.
Dontavius.
I think it's Dontavian, but
Dontavian.
Darrell, I don't know.
Darrell, wow. All right, go ahead, Mark.
All right, I'm gonna go wide receiver as well. I'm gonna tell you about a little guy, and I do mean little guy out in LA, and that's Tutu Atwell. I think you guys are gonna flock to the waiver wire. You're gonna try to add Atwell. Very capable receiver, man. I'm not knocking Atwell or his skill. What I am knocking is the fact that the Rams have an early bye. And with that early bye, they're not bringing their studs back early because they want to give them fair enough time to recuperate. So, with that being said, I think they have a week 6 bye, maybe. So they have one more week 6 bye. Puka and Cooper are coming back. Cooper could have probably played this week, he said. Puka, I'm sure, is right behind him. So Atwell is going to be a 1 week rental because those two guys are going to come back. Demarcus Robinson is the wide receiver 3 there, and let's face it, they run the ball a lot with Kyron Williams, right?
Yep.
So Tutu Atwell is going to be a wide receiver 4. He's not going to get very many targets. There are going to be gadget plays called for him, but don't waste your waiver wire pick on Tutu Atwell because, again, you're going to get a 1 week, maybe 2 week rental out of him tops before he is relegated back to the bench and the waiver wire.
Fair. You got your fastball today. So an old friend of yours, Justin Fields. Don't go get him. He's ranked pretty high on a lot of the fantasy apps that you might go check for this kind of stuff. But I don't know that the starting QB position in Pittsburgh is very long for Justin Fields. Blow up week this week, but they lost. And Pittsburgh's in a position where they actually can compete for that division. And Tomlin knows that if there's any shakiness in his performance, they will not hesitate to turn to Russ. I think they want to get Russ in there. They brought him in. He is a veteran. I think he does he wasn't amazing last year, but he does give them another element with the passing game that I don't think you get as much with Fields. And
He's a better passer, not as good of a runner.
Yeah. I just think it'd be a waste of a waiver ad. I mean, you'll get lucky if he has another big game next week, but if they lose, I think he's out of there.
ET is destined for the waiver wire again at some point when Russ comes back.
Which is sad, but it is what it is.
Yep.
Well, you know what? Don't go to Ohio State if you want to learn how to quarterback.
I mean, whatever. I mean, I don't know.
All right.
What
so anyway, guys,
Mark, what is it?
Shut
Rutgers?
up, Mark. Why do you keep starting to start fights?
But I mean, I think he's got to commit to a college before he starts talking trash.
No, he's just
Georgia.
Yeah, no,
You're trying to get your goal.
I mean, that
That
is
was a good game.
par for you. That would be a team because you're all over the damn board with yours.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
You know, I like this, I like that, I like them. What the hell?
true.
Stick to a damn city.
All right, so that's our wiretaps. Hey, if you guys want to learn more or get some more names to add to your team off the waiver wire, go become one of the guys at Patreon, and we will talk to you one-on-one. We'll give you some advice. Tell us who you're thinking of picking up. We'll tell you if it's worth it.
One-on-one.
We'll get dirty with you.
One-on-one. All right, but that being said, we're going to move into the main section of our show, which is Fantasy Prime Time. Fantasy Prime Time. And all we're going to do here is pick out what we think are our prime time fantasy games. The games that we think are going to have high scoring. We'll give a short description why, and then we will draft 6 players from that game. We'll do it in a very fast fashion, very quick fashion. All right? Almost like we've done it already. So,
Yeah, I know.
Game
Practice.
one.
Let's lubricate this and get going.
Go. So game one is the Browns of Cleveland traveling to meet the Commanders of Washington, and the over-under on this game, which we now know is 44 points, 45 where you've seen it. So somewhere in that range. Main reason I picked this game is the Commanders have scored on their last 16 drives. They didn't punt for 2 games straight. The offense is humming. The Browns defense doesn't look like the Browns defense from last year. Their secondary's banged up. They're just not playing with the same ferocity, if you will. So I look for the Browns offense to kind of be chasing the game most of the day. And the Commanders offense has been very efficient. There's going to be a lot of points. There's a lot of guys to go around. You want to target this game. If you got guys on these teams, maybe start them. If you're looking for daily fantasy stuff, maybe target this game. Yeah. So we'll start the drafting with you. Who's your first guy off the board?
Easy choice. And just so you guys know, we're avoiding quarterbacks in this.
Yes.
So easy choice for me, Brian.
Wait, when did we decide that?
I mean, somewhere in our pre-production meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure your microphone's on.
Yeah. Anyways, Brian Robinson is an easy choice for me. Yeah. He's the number 12 running back, averaging 15.3 points per game. And specifically the last 3, it's gone up even more. And the Browns are the 20th worst defense against the rush. I think the Austin Eckler experience is over. Brian Robinson.
I don't know if that's the case. He does look good when he's in, but he's a little banged up. I think it might be another high ankle sprain for him too. You know what? I'm going to throw a curveball here. I'm going to go Amari Cooper. And
look at that
piece of garbage.
I'm just kidding. I am going with the second pick here. I'm going with Scary Terry.
Scary Terry.
Here's why. Scary Terry needed a quarterback, right? It's all it looked like he needed to unlock him. He gave Jaden Daniel the first couple of weeks to warm up, and now Terry is fully heated up. He's ready to go. He had a handful of catches on a handful more targets. He went over the century mark. He scored. Scary Terry looks every bit the part of a wide receiver 1 in a young offense that's going to move the ball. Jaden Daniels is showing that he is not afraid to whip the rock around. And guess what? Guess who's there on the other side willingly? Terry McLaurin. He's loving it, man. He's finally got a guy that can throw the ball.
Yeah. Love this pick. Last 2 weeks, 17 points a game average.
Boom.
Yeah. And I will take Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper, I think we're just waiting for him to turn the corner. He's killing me with the drops, but I'm looking at this here through 4 games. He has 37 targets. He's caught less than half of those, so that's an issue. 2 touchdowns. Big one called back last week. He's dropped a couple. Yeah. So Amari Cooper should be a lot more Amari Cooper-ish at this point. But I think in this game where they're probably going to be down and chasing the game, he'll have his opportunities. So fingers crossed, hoping Amari Cooper turns into Amari Cooper.
Yeah, I think we were talking. The drops aren't his fault though, right? It's Deshaun Watson. He's got that ball diddied up, and it's gotta be. Gotta be hard to catch.
I could see how you would go there. That would make sense. Yeah, but no, this is 100% Amari's fault. But I think he is somebody that if you can try to pick him up in a trade, I think you can get him cheap right now, and people who are saying this are just not watching the games. He has clearly dropped 2 sure touchdowns, and then he had 1 80-yard touchdown called back. If he had gotten those, which a typical year he would be the number 1 wide receiver in our league right now.
Let's face it. How many people do actually watch Browns games, though?
Sadly, just me. Yeah. Sadly, me.
Hey, all right, Rocky, who is your second pick?
So my second pick, and this one is pretty easy for me, would be Jerome Ford. He's a number 22 running back in the league with a 13-yard average. He is better than people think. And I think that Washington is a team you can run against. And I think the Browns are trying to run the ball more. So this is probably your last week with Jerome Ford before Nick Chubb comes back. But I would ride the Ford here.
Ride the wave.
Ride the wave.
Nah, I can't wait till Nick comes back because I definitely want to ride the Chubb. I
All
can't
right,
wait.
Mark, who you got?
All right. My second pick here is a guy who is proving to me
Here's a guy.
that he is a wide receiver one. He, again, just didn't have a competent quarterback. So with the slight uptick in quarterback progression with Deshaun Watson, you get Jerry Jeudy, who could be a wide receiver one in this league. He is targeted often. He comes down with the tough contested catches. He's very athletic with the ball in his hand after the catch. So yards after catch, pretty decent. And they're looking at him for touchdowns as well. They're looking for him in the red zone. I love Jerry Jeudy in this offense if Deshaun can get it going. If not, I would love to see Jerry Jeudy with like a real true quarterback one.
Like a Jameis Winston.
James.
Yeah, get him in. I would love to see Jamie. I think your season turns around with him.
Hell yeah, J-Mo in there for sure.
All right. So my guy is going to be a guy who's questionable right now, but I'm hoping that he plays. David Njoku, who, as you've mentioned in the past, does have probably the best connection with Deshaun Watson. And this is more by default of the last of the 6 picks here because I am not, and I don't know if you guys are going to mention Zach Ertz, but they scored 42 points last week. He had 3 targets, 22 yards, no touchdowns on the season. I'm just not buying stock in the Ertz thing right now. I think his ranking amongst tight ends says more about the tight end position group than it does about him being good right now. So give me David Njoku. Think the upside's there. Obviously, watch it as we get close to game time if he's playing or not. But yeah, Njoku's my guy.
And he's a big, strong, physical tight end. He brings a lot to that offense, and I think that offense opens up when Njoku comes back.
Yep.
Fair. Yeah. All right, so to our second game, this was your pick, Rocky.
Yeah.
We're talking about the NFC South, the Bucks at the Falcons. So tell us why you picked this game.
Yeah, real quick, the over-under on this game is 43.5. I like both these teams. I think that they're starting to come into their strides. Other than one game, Baker and the Bucks have looked pretty good. Yeah. And I think Kirk Cousins, as he gets further and further away from the ACL rehab, is looking more and more like Kirk, and he's figuring out his weapons, working on his timing. And so I like this game. So, Phil, tell me who your number one choice is. Or do we have Mark?
Yeah,
Mark.
it's me.
Mark?
We're going this way. And then when I go,
all right, Mark, give me your number one.
There it is. You know what? You know what you don't need 2 healthy ACLs for? To hand the ball off, and that's all they got to do this week, right? Tampa, I think we said it during take 1 that Tampa's rush defense isn't the greatest.
Nope.
Bijan Robinson is an absolute stud in the backfield. You got to go Bijan here, number 1. There's a couple other guys that I really do like in this game, but I think Bijan Robinson, this is the perfect matchup in the AFC South head-to-head game here for Bijan Robinson to tote the rock often and very, very potently.
Yep. Bucks are 22nd against the rush.
All righty, so I'm going on the other side of the ball there. I'm going with Mr. Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin, I think in this game has great opportunity to take advantage of what the Falcons do on defense, which is playing there too high, playing from the top down on defense. Godwin, 27 receptions over the first 4 weeks of the season, just under 7 receptions a game, 3 touchdowns already. We talked about in the offseason that he was going to be productive this year, and he is. I think it's a great matchup for them. Give me Chris Godwin.
Yep, much like you, Phil, I'm going to stick on that side of the ball, that area of the team, and I'm picking Michael Evans. Falcons are 15th against the pass, so they're just very mediocre. And I think this is the best passing offense that they've faced so far this year. Baker has a camaraderie and an understanding of Mike Evans. I think this is the week they start getting it together.
All right. That's on me. There is a trio of ball catchers in Atlanta that I can choose from here, right? Might seem pretty obvious to take Drake London, right? It might be obvious to others to take Darnell Mooney, who's been targeted very often early on. But you know what? I'm a Kyle Pitts truther. I don't know what it is, man. They hate him in Atlanta. He had like 2 targets with 0 catches last week. I think that it's a huge no-no. I think they really, really, really have to focus getting him the ball. And I think that this might have been the eye-opener. I think if you watch that game, he had very formidable, he had very clear matchups that he could have won. They were one-on-ones. He was open a lot of the time. And I think it's just a matter of Kirk getting comfortable, right? We mentioned Kirk coming off the Achilles, needing to get back to being Kirk. Once Kirk's comfortable, I think Kyle Pitts, towards the end of the season, over-the-top Kyle Pitts could potentially be a league winner. I am a Pitts truther. I want to stay true to Kyle Pitts here, and I'm going to take him because I think they're going to right the ship with him this week. I think after getting him 0 receptions last week, they're going to make it a point of emphasis to get the ball in his hands.
It's an interesting take. I'm waiting for when we just decide Pitts is not that great.
I don't know, man. If you watch, like, he's just strong through the ball. He does everything right. The only problem is he doesn't get targeted.
Yeah.
And he's open. I think it's because he's such a good blocker, which keeps him on the field the majority of the plays, and it's just taken for granted. And Kirk's already worked through his progression.
I don't know. I think I'm punting on Pitts.
That's fine. I want everybody to. I want everybody to punt on Pitts.
Good, we will. All right, so I'm going, surprise, I'm going with Bucky Irving here. I'm looking at the numbers with him and Sherrod White. Rashad White. And, yeah, I mean, it's pretty close, the touches they're getting, and Bucky's just been more productive. It's a little bit speculative, but I think they're going to continue to go with that hot hand, and if everything's even, I still like my chances with Bucky touching the ball there.
Yeah, I like that. I think Bucky's, as I said over and over again, he's a better running back than Rashad. Rashad's a slightly better receiver, but if you look even in the receiving room, that Bucky is starting to get targeted also. I think he could put it together. My second choice is going to be strictly because of the matchup. The Falcons are 23rd best against the tight end room. They've allowed a score in almost every game by a tight end. I like Cade Otton. I think he is a decent red zone threat. And if you're looking for a good tight end to pick up maybe on waivers, he might not be rostered. And even if he is, I would start him. I like Cade Otton here.
All right,
you heard it here. Go pick yourself up a sweet tight end.
All right. Mark, who is your last and final pick here?
I already picked. I went first there.
Oh, hey. Yeah. So let's forget that ever happened.
But we could go right to his game.
We could go right to your game. Which
hey,
is
great segue.
Indy. Are they playing at Jacksonville?
They are playing. Where are they playing?
Are they in Duval? Well, it's Indy versus Jacksonville.
Yeah, they're in Jacksonville. It's in Duval.
They're in Duval County. All right, so tell us why you picked this game.
I picked this game because there are a lot of fantasy studs to be taken in this game. The aforementioned OG wife or mother slayer, Joe Flacco, got some dynamic running backs. And, hey, guess what? The over-under is 46.5 in this game. And believe it or not, Jacksonville is favored at 0-4.
That's crazy.
Yeah, tell me about it.
What's the line?
-2.5.
Wow.
Okay.
I am shocked that I am even looking at that.
That is crazy.
All right, Phil, you got first pick.
I get first pick. I just want to check on the status of a Mr. Jonathan Taylor here.
Yeah, how did he popped up on the injury report apparently?
Okay, yeah, I got it. All right. So, that being said, my first pick is going to be Michael Pittman Jr. here.
What's wrong with Taylor?
Mid to high ankle sprain. So Michael Pittman Jr. Yeah, Jacksonville doesn't look great. The defenses look so-so, but they got torched by Buffalo, and man, when the Texans had to have it, they got it. I don't like the vibes down there in Jacksonville. Give me Michael Pittman, even more so with if Flacco's really gonna start and play this game, because
people are gonna flock around and find out.
Yeah, wow, yeah. He still could throw a pretty deep ball. And he just knows what he's doing. They're going to target their number one wide receiver, and Flacco's going to get it to him. Give me Pittman.
All right. So I'll go second here, and there's only one thing that's really worked and looked good in Jacksonville, and I'm going to go with this guy, and that's Brian Thomas. He looks like he may be one of the, if not the best, well, that's unfair, Malik Neighbors and Harrison, yeah. But Brian Thomas is maybe the third best rookie wide receiver. He has scored several times. Him and T-Law have some kind of, I think he is feeding T-Law some sugar cubes before the game. It's working. So I'm going to go Brian Thomas. I feel like he'll get a touchdown here. Yeah.
Is that your pick?
No, we're not allowed to say quarterbacks.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. All right, go ahead.
Shit, man. I don't like the fact that Jonathan Taylor might not be playing. He is questionable.
That's right.
Mild, but he's had proclivity to sit in the past. With that, it's gonna definitely derail.
It's a high ankle sprain. I don't think he's playing.
This pick.
It's a mid to high.
All right,
mild high ankle sprain.
I gotta go. I gotta go
reading
Trav
right here.
then.
I'm joking.
Who are you going?
I got to go Trav. I got to go ETN here. I got to go running back who's going to get the bulk of the carries. This should be a high-scoring game. Regardless of what happened last week, whether it was a shoulder or him getting benched in favor of Bigsby, who was just, had a very high yards per touch average last week. I'm sure he was riding the hot hand on the 0-4 Jaguars. ETN is way too good a talent to not be on the field. So ETN will be on the field. And ETN will get his fair share of points in this game.
All right, fair enough. I'm taking his backup, Tank Bigsby. Tank Bigsby, 21 carries, 172 yards for a 8.2 yard average, okay? That is nothing to sneeze at. Travis Etienne is talented, I agree. And I think that if you're playing the odds, you probably play the odds that he shows up as Travis Etienne. But his average on the season is about half of that with not many more carries. I like Tank Bigsby here. We'll see who wins.
I think we got a call for Mac Jones and down in Duval, right?
It's coming.
It should be the Mac Jones show.
It's coming. Yeah, there's something going on in Jacksonville there, and I'm not sure if it's a play calling, if it's the coach. I'm not sure what it is, but
quarterback
T-Law has not looked good. I'm going to go with a guy I've already mentioned once this show, and that's Josh Downs. I think he's kind of coming into his own. I've mentioned him as the lubricant. I'd love to see what happens if Flacco is the QB for the entire game. Josh Downs is my next choice.
All right. And, God, I hate to go Trey Sermon. I really don't want to go Trey Sermon, but I don't know if Ingram's going to be back.
Yeah, Ingram would be my choice if he's back, but I didn't get a report that he is back.
I don't know if it's going to be Ingram or if it's going to be Brenton Strange, who's also been playing the part. You know what? I'm just going to go with
your heart.
Christian Kirk looked good last week.
Yeah, he did look good last week.
A little bit of a return to dominance for Christian Kirk.
Mr. Reliable.
He had 7 catches for 60. He's Tyler. He's the poor man's Tyler Lockett. Yeah. Give me Christian Kirk with his 12 targets last week.
It's a good pick. I like that pick. And, hey, all the games we didn't talk about right here, please go to our TikTok at GON Podcast. We will be posting our videos covering the rest of the games and who we like in those games. Without further ado, we'll move into the last little segment of our show today, and that is Single Digit Saloon, y'all. And what we're going to do is we're going to highlight your studs and tell you which one of them is going to score in the single digits this week.
Yeah.
I'll start this one off because I'm talking already, and we just talked about a bunch about this game, but I'm going with Mike Evans, and I know you picked him as one of your picks there, and I love Mike Evans. He's on one of my maybe 2 of my teams. Big Mike Evans guy. But I don't like this matchup for him on a short week. Mike Evans' last game against this Falcons secondary, this team, he had 1 catch on 8 targets. I think there's something to his game and the way they play defense with those 2 high safeties. And that was before they upgraded and brought in Justin Simmons, who is a good to probably a great safety in this league, probably the best safety duo in the league right now. It's why I think Godwin's going to have a particularly good game, why I like the Cade Otten pick, because I do think in the end zone they're going to have a lot of eyes and they're going to have elite safeties kind of shading over to Mike Evans. So I just don't love the matchup for him. They've allowed three TDs through the 4 weeks. and I have them as the 11th ranked pass defense. Where I looked it up, you said you had them as the 14th. It's early in the season, but I just don't like the matchup for Evan. So look for him to score low.
All right, who's next?
You.
All right, I'll go next then, and I would say that this breaks my heart a little bit, but don't love the matchup. I think the Cowboys are still a good defense. George Pickens looked better last week, and I think the Pickens owners have to hope that they get behind early and that they're going to have to throw the ball because that definitely helped Pickens. But I am afraid of this. I think that the Cowboys are a team that might be able to control the rushing and the running of Justin Fields, and so I think that hurts Pickens. And I think I see an 8-point game for Pickens, unfortunately.
Okay, Mark, who do you got?
Who's
visiting the single-digit saloon?
I'm quickly looking at the last stat to tie this all together because I'm about to piss off a lot of people here.
Who's it going to be, Garrett Wilson?
There it is. It's confirmed.
That's what I had. I had him as my number 2.
Oh.
No, I'm staying with the Jets, but it's not Garrett Wilson. Breece Hall owners are going to be upset to find out that Breece Hall is going to have his second consecutive sub 10-point game. Last week it was sub 5 points. This week it's going to be sub 10. They're playing the 4-0 Vikings, who look dominant, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They are the second-ranked run defense, allowing only 300 yards rushing. I don't think Breece Hall is going to get it together this week. He's got another problem, too. That problem comes in the form of Braylon Allen. Braylon Allen looks fantastic. When Braylon Allen has his shots on the field, Braylon Allen is making the most of them. He looks great. He looks like what Breece Hall looked like when he was behind whoever the hell he was behind 2 seasons ago. Braylon Allen looks great. So Breece Hall, I think this week, chances are you spent a top 6 pick on Breece Hall in the drafts this year, and you're going to be upset for a second consecutive sub 10 point
I'm not going to agree with you about the single digits, but you're down the right trail because Braylon Allen is not a joke, and there's going to be a heavy dose of Braylon Allen after that performance by the Jets. The talking heads are buzzing in New York right now, and they do not like how Breece Hall looks, number one, and they do not like how much Braylon Allen wasn't included in this game plan against Denver last week. So you're onto something there.
Yeah, things seem to be a little bit of a mess in New York. And here's the crazy thing. It could have been Garrett Wilson. I had him as my second choice. And that's a shame because let me tell you what, that dude is a stud, and Rodgers seems unable to find him, which is shocking.
I don't think it's not that. So I watch a lot of that game. They're just not on the same page. And I think Rodgers talked about it post game where I think he's trying to bring them along, but they're still not on that.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams, like he knows. There's a few times he's thrown to a spot. Wilson's not there. So I think still hold on. I think Wilson will catch up. He's a good enough player. He's, from everything I've seen, he's like a professional. You know, he's going to learn what he has to learn. But right now, it doesn't look great.
Let me just throw this out there. Maybe it's Aaron Rodgers that's wrong.
Yeah, maybe it is.
Maybe it's that prick.
He's never had any wide receivers that were not drafted in the first round be really good. You're probably right.
But it's ridiculous. Maybe, you know, we're seeing it now with Devontae Adams wanting out of Oakland. He's a total diva. Maybe it's because Devontae Adams just happened to be in the wrong spot all the time, and that's where Aaron was looking because Aaron's such a shitbag quarterback.
That makes sense.
So maybe it's an Aaron Rodgers problem. Maybe Garrett Wilson knows where to be.
That's right. All right.
Just saying.
Hey, so that's the show, guys. Please, if you like us a little bit or a lot, like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Wonder lick that friggin' like button and let us know who you think is right, who you think is wrong. Go follow us on all socials at GNWN Podcast and check us out where you listen to podcasts, mainly on Spotify and maybe on music. And let us know. We love you. Peace.
See you.